All right, we got chest day today, and before we get in there, I'll make the car talk about the training instead of something else. So we can talk about something that I struggled with my first few years of working out, honestly like first 4 years of working out, of actually hitting my chest on like either push day or chest day or whatever. So I would do all the exercises for it, but I'd never actually feel my chest getting hit. And I'm not talking about just like mind-muscle connection or like feeling the contraction, which, yeah, that stuff's important for sure, but I'm just talking about actually hitting your chest. Like I wouldn't even have like a pump in my chest. Some movements, just like my triceps, would give out first, but I'm trying to hit my chest. And all the above. Some techniques to how you lift, how you press. Honestly, chest, arguably one of the more difficult muscles to actually hit properly. I'd say maybe a runner-up would be some of the certain muscle groups in your back. Kind of a pain in the ass to try and directly hit. But yeah, nothing else really comes to mind of like struggling to actually hit. Maybe hamstrings on like RDL or something, but the point being made is I think it's something good to talk on or touch on because it's something I've struggled with as well. So where do I want to start? Because there's a few things to talk about for it. I'd say the first one is honestly, it's so goofy saying, trying to teach you to form on an exercise. At least I feel like it's goofy, but quite honestly, yeah. One is the form. I'm going to go over that one first because the next one's going to tie into that. Rolling your shoulders back, not rolling your shoulders back. I'm not even going to touch on that part. I'm just talking about when, let's say you're doing like a dumbbell press or something, is letting the dumbbells come all the way down to where your hand eventually is like in a line with your chest. Like your hand should be in the same plane as your chest here, but going all the way down. I'm not even too concerned about rolling your shoulders back or not, because sure, it can help a little bit, but most of that is really just going to change the angle of angle of hitting your chest. Because look, if you're doing like a flat dumbbell press and you arch the shit out of your back, you can damn near make it a decline press, right? And if you're doing incline dumbbell press and you arch the hell out of your shoulders, you can basically make that a flat chest press, because you're taking away the arch of an incline, or the angle of the incline with the arch of your shoulders and back. So I wouldn't even hyper like analyze your shoulders. I mean, for pec flies maybe, but to simplify it, I'm not worried about that. One would be, can you actually bring the weight all the way down here for each rep when pressing it? And you're going to realize that if you normally don't do that and you've been pushing some heavier weight, you are not going to be able to do it with the weight you are doing, which is okay. Because you're getting a different range of motion that you're not used to, and it's a lot more difficult down here because you're actually hitting more of your chest. If you only go like halfway down on like say bench press, or I say maybe incline dumbbell is usually more commonly not full depth, or full ROM, you'll notice that you're not going to be able to do as much weight, which is okay. Because that's going to lead me into the second point of more likely than not, you need to be dropping the weight. And I'm not saying make it some featherweight and go in there and make it happy fun times. Like, it should be heavy, but still controllable. Okay? And controllable, I'm going to define as able to have full range of motion while not dropping the weight. Just those two. If you don't just drop the weight down and catch it and then push it back up, and you also are able to get a full range of motion, I'll say that you're able to, that's controlling the weight. So as heavy as you can get while still doing that. But as soon as you see you're pushing the weight to a point where it's like you're hesitating to go all the way down because you think you're not going to get enough reps, just drop the weight a little bit. There's no point of hitting a certain number if you're not, a certain like weight number, if you're not actually hitting what you want to hit, right? I think the best, I'm not going to bother giving an analogy, but like, are you really PRing on like your chest if you're not going all the way down, or are you just PRing on like your front delt? Like you're not even trying to hit that, but you end up doing that because you're focused on the number on the side of the dumbbell. And I've been there a lot of times. It's honestly, I guess not now, but maybe like a 2-year span where I was at the point of, maybe a little less than 2 years, but I was at the point of the person I just described, the one that drops the weight and is always pushing the number on the side of the dumbbell. I went from that to now how you see how I train with controlling the weights. And it was really like a 1 to 2 year span, which is a long time, of eventually transitioning that, but with the same weight. So the weight that I was using, like ego lifting, to just make an easy term, ego lifting, to making it a legitimate weight to control, it literally took like 2 years, which is a pretty fair amount of time. Now, is it going to take you 2 years? No, if everything else is on point, like your diet, tracking your macros, tracking your weight in the morning, knowing that you're actually going up in weight, a lot of all the other stuff outside of the training. But if you really stick, like, are dialed in everything perfectly how it's supposed to, definitely won't take 2 years. But this was a couple years ago now for me. So what was that? So between like year 2 and like year 4 of lifting, I guess, somewhere around there. I don't know. Obviously, I didn't know as much as I know now, how on like the diet side of things that make the biggest difference out of all of what we're talking about. But yeah, point being made is, dude, it's all right. You're really the only person looking at the weight you're pushing. Like, it's in your head. Nobody really gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up. Some things that I fixed that helped me tremendously. I gotta think, was there anything else? Oh, another one is like, at least you'll see today, is if your goal is specifically getting a better looking physique, or goal is bodybuilding, whatever way you want to phrase it, instead of your goal being like powerlifting, just trying to hit PRs, I personally suggest throwing in an isolation movement of whatever muscle you're trying to hit that day to start the day. Because I'm going to do a pec fly to start my chest day. I put it in quotes just because technically your biceps get hit and a little bit of shoulders, but for the most part, pec fly is isolating your chest. And I'm going to start with that because it helps for a couple reasons. Well, first, let me describe why it doesn't matter that you're starting with that, because obviously it's going to make you not be able to push as much weight on like the pressing movements, or less likely to. It's because you're not concerned about the number on the weight. It's the amount of stress you're putting on the muscle, right? The weight, of course, helps with that, but just because you stress the muscle before stressing the muscle isn't going to inhibit you. You're fine. Anything it's just going to help, which is my point now, is target the actual muscle you're trying to hit. If you activated your chest has a pump in it, you can literally feel the contraction of it. When you go into pressing movement, and then you do what I described about going all the way down to here, your chest is going to feel like it's going to explode. which is a good thing because we want to make sure that we're actually hitting our chest the entire movement. Which is why some people emphasize mind muscle connection a lot, is because it helps you fire those muscle fibers or use those muscle fibers when doing the movement. So by isolating it first, it really helps with you actually targeting that muscle on the movements where you probably get like some triceps in there, some shoulders in there. But that's not what you're really trying to hit, right? So yeah, that's just my take on it. And also, it's more likely the first muscle group that's going to give out and when you go to failure. Because for sure, you can have your triceps give out first thing before your chest on a chest day, which is not what we want. I know when I bench press, if I started my chest day with like barbell bench press, my triceps will give out before my chest does by a good amount. So it ends up being a tricep movement with a little bit of chest than a chest movement because of what's giving out first. My triceps are sore as shit after that. And it's not because I have a close grip. I have a real normal grip on the bar to hit chest. So that's another benefit of the isolation in the beginning. So, all right. Pec fly, incline, machine press, flat machine press. Shoulders will superset shoulder press with lateral raises, and then we'll do triceps, dips, and then overhead tricep extension. Abs, get out of there. Oh boy. Yeah, I forgot today's kind of a longer day, but we're going to get through it. Crank it up. 7 o'clock on a Thursday. See you guys in there.
Okay. Kind of forgot to explain at least a little bit what I was doing before. Just a little bit. At least a little bit what I was doing before starting this. Just because, I don't know, maybe you have a question about why I'm doing it, like alternating. Just more emphasis on the side that I said about chest activation before going into like pressing movements. Sure, I guess you can be like, well, isn't it more optimal to do at the same time because then you get more power behind it and more stimulus? Maybe. I just want my chest to be the most activated before I go into the rest of the pressing movements, because otherwise I'm not going to get much out of doing the pressing movements. Front delt starts getting fatigued. My triceps will give up first, and I don't want to deal with that. So prevent that. Okay, maybe I get slightly less stimulus. I don't even know if that's true, but I do know my chest is going to be way more activated, bonus activated by doing alternated. Obviously, I'm still going to get just as much. Like, I'm still going to get a good amount for doing it at the same time, but it's just a bonus. And also makes the workout enjoyable. I don't overthink it too much of doing something alternating compared to same time. For pec fly, obviously I'm not going to do a dumbbell press alternating. Or at least I won't. I'll leave the camera there. Try to make pec fly higher rep. Then make this one a little lower, but I don't know. Kind of only getting like 8 on the last one, but we'll see how much what this is. Honestly, you can gauge usually by like the first rep how many you think you can get. You can probably be pretty close, like plus or minus 2 reps. So, yeah, just given the fact that I don't track exactly the weight and reps that I did from the previous session, is why I mentioned that. You'd be surprised how accurate you can be with just doing 1 rep and seeing like, oh yeah, I can probably do 30 with this, or I can probably get like 4. Yeah, why? Is because everything else outside of the gym is like tracked to a T. Like the diet side, eating the exact same thing every day, slight adjustments on the food, slight adjustments on the macros, checking my weight in the morning every single day. So it's not that I don't, well, I guess it is that I don't track the weight and reps, but it's that I track literally every singular other thing is why, which is why it works. Because at the end of the day, is the goal the physique or is it PRs? So it helps with you not being too overly concerned about getting that extra rep or the extra 2.5 pound plate. It's because you can get like the exact same weight and reps for like a month straight, but like the quality of the reps will get way better. And you're still growing like tissue. It's just the quality of the reps are better, which is why it's like, or which causes, at least caused me a lot of times to think I was plateauing because, oh, well, I can't type on my notes app that I got 5 more pounds, or I got like another rep on the same exact thing. So because I wasn't able to type it in from the last time, it's like, oh, am I plateauing? Do I got to switch my program? I remember I went on like a year-long thing of like switching up my routines every 6 to 8 weeks because I thought that was the reason why I wasn't typing in like another amount of weight or reps for each like movement, which is just not the case. So to help not fall in that like downward, I want to say, I guess you could call it a downward spiral of thinking what's wrong with my training. It's it helps not to micromanage the weight and reps, at least for me, but actually micromanage the diet and weighing myself. Because then you know you're progressing. Like, I don't know, I didn't track my weight and reps for my entire bulk. I was 190 on stage, and 5-month bulk out of it, I was 223. And now I'm 3 weeks into a cut, and I'm like 218. So I lost like a pound to pound and a half past couple weeks. I'm not tracking my weight and reps, so it's just how it works. All right, let's go. That was it for chest. I'm throwing a superset of these. Shoulder press along with. I'll stand behind this and move the camera and do some lateral raises. I'm not overly concerned about getting higher reps on this. Just the fact it's a superset. It's already gonna be enough volume. And it's also not the main thing I'm hitting today. I think I've said this probably every. Hold on, let me move this so I can talk. I'm on 1 pixel of the screen. I think I've said this like every tricep part of the push day past, I don't know, maybe this entire series. So I'll give the abbreviated version. If you don't have like a pressing movement specifically for triceps in your routine somewhere, I'd compare it very similar to like not having a pressing movement for chest. Like, do you really think you're going to get fully, I guess, develop chest or get the most out of chest if you just did 4 different variations of pec fly? Probably not. So it was something that I kind of learned the past couple of years, because I guess I didn't really understand it the first few years. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to throw in numerous like pressing movements for triceps, the same way that you would want them for chest. Because I used to just do, gosh, first off, I would barely do any volume for triceps, because I would just be like, oh, well, I hit them indirectly when I do bench press, so I'll count that as a tricep movement. Like, no, if you're not really doing it a direct intention of hitting a certain muscle group, I wouldn't count that as volume towards that muscle, first off. I kind of was like that for both bis and tris, so. Second, throwing in pressing movements is definitely important than whatever movements you want to do for triceps. So whether it's dips, close grip bench, what else is there? What do you want to call it? Dips where you're like half seated and like the bench is behind you and your arms are back like that. There's that one I've done a few times. Close grip push-ups, diamond push-ups. There's a few. So as long as you throw in at least one, like I got dips. So I could probably throw another one, but yeah, at least throw in one. I guess what the, what do you want to call it? The kinesiology behind it? I guess it's just getting the most power out of it. Like, you can get the most power out of a pressing movement, get the most out of chest from that. I don't know, I guess I'll go out on a limb here and say that, like, you're not really going to get a big chest doing only pec fly movements, so pressing movements is really going to help with that. So I guess kind of the same concept can apply to triceps, so that's the best analogy I can give for it. Anyways, let's move this. Yeah, even doing these not weighted, dude, I get like fucking 7.
Was that 455 for like nice good rep? Is that a CEC? Should we something 365? I'm not wrong though, right? I think that 365 gets me warm for 455 really gets me warm. And I like this. I used to just take the medicine for an hour later. Nah, 425. Nah, fuck that. Just got that.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Oh, I haven't talked to him No, I know. It's still possible. That's a fucking I have always got raised. I don't know why she don't. You have some kind of
Okay. Alright, that's it for the lift. Let's just go pose and get out of here. Cool. Alright, let's check it out. Dude, I gotta say, I think my whole car talk yesterday was about this, but anyways, having the proper bulk pushing calories before doing like a either mini cut or whatever, dude, so much smoother. I'm down 6 pounds in 3 weeks. Okay, given probably 3 of it's probably like water weight, so I guess a pound a week. Like that's a normal pace for a cut. And dude, like I'm still force feeding myself. So I know it's a huge misconception about cutting weight. I'm thinking that like, because I fell into this, like I only know if I'm cutting weight because I'm hungry, which totally false. Same way on a bulk, like when I first started working out, I was like, why does this do that? I only know that I'm gaining if I'm full, and the food after I'm full is what's actually moving the needle, which obviously neither of those are actually true. But there are indicators in like certain senses, like I guess I can't give an explanation on that without making an entire car talk. So maybe I'll talk about that in the car on the way home. But point being made is, if you do a proper bulk before a cut, dude, you can actually like enjoy a cut and go through an entire cut without being hungry. Because I've said this a few times now. It wasn't until the last 4 weeks of my prep where I was actually hungry. So that was 3 months straight of consistently dropping weight. Didn't think about food. So yeah, it's possible. And is that gonna happen for everybody? No, but I will say probably 4 out of 5 people, to be honest. Especially if you're natty, and you don't have the extra appetite increase from like being on stuff. 4 out of 5 people are going to be in the same boat, is what I just said, quite honestly. So the harder part's honestly just getting the food down in bulk. But I mean, other than that, like, I don't know, cutting down's kind of the enjoyable part. I used to have it flipped because I didn't really understand like how the two work. What the hell do I want to say? Synergistically? Whatever. Let's just pause. call it there in the posing. I've been throwing those in, what do I call it, mandatories. And I don't know, since prep, dude. During prep, I would do like an hour a day. I only have like one vid a week probably from the prep, but like, dude, after working out, it would be like an hour of racks and posing for like 6 months straight, so. Yeah, it definitely helped. I mean, once you learn it, it's really easy just to like keep up on practicing it, but that first learning curve of actually trying to get poses right, pain in the ass, dude. So that was like the one thing I wanted to make sure I wasn't like, that was like control the controllables for like the show, first show. And sorry, hopefully you can hear me over the punching bag. I didn't want bad posing to be the reason why I placed lower in the show, because that's something I could have. That's something that was in my control. So, all right, punching bag is too low. Let's get out of here.
All right. Oof. I don't remember what I said that I was going to talk about in the car. Literally 5 minutes ago. Well. Oh, I know. About the hunger and full signals. Yeah. What the fuck does that mean, Kobe Bryant? I'll explain it. So I already mentioned that they're not the best signals for knowing that you're on the right track, but there are signals for certain contextual, or given a context, there may be a reason for why to adjust what you're doing. A couple things. I guess one of them is if you're doing a mini cut specifically because you need to get your hunger back up because your calories are high, but you're still pretty lean, and the hunger is just shot. Like, I'm talking shot. So it's like the main goal of the mini cut is the hunger, to get your hunger back, maybe a little insulin sensitivity back, maybe get a little leaner. It's a bonus. That's when you'd use the signal of like, all right, I'm actually getting pretty hungry. Of okay, maybe it's time that the mini cut is winding down, ready to start the bulk again. That's a time when a signal of hunger would be reasonable. It's because that was the purpose of the cut in the first place, is we're looking for that signal. What else? What was another one that I'm thinking of? Would you be full? No. I guess the context of, let's say, if you're starting a bulk and you're literally just starting it and you're full, like I'm talking, you can barely eat, your hunger's at a 0 out of 10, and you didn't even really start the bulk yet, it's like the first week, that would probably be a signal that, hey, maybe we gotta do like a recomp first, or go on a little cut first before we start this bulk. Because look, if we're starting at fucking the ground floor and we're already like cooked on hunger wise, that's not the best signal. Unless you're like shredded, and honestly I guess they'd find ways to adjust the bulk to make it better, but usually that's the case. Some of them, maybe if you do a recomp and you're still getting full, is like up the amount of cardio you do, whether it's more frequency or longer sessions of cardio to get that hunger back up, and it's not going to hurt your gains, it's just going to help with your hunger. I guess those are two contexts that come to mind, at least, when you'd actually use the hunger and fullness as signals to make adjustments. Yeah, there's a few more, but those are like the main ones I can think of. Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, you're pushing your body. Look, I guess, I don't know if you say hypothetically or theoretically, whatever. You're pushing your body into something that it doesn't want to be. It may be healthy, but technically it's something that it doesn't want to be. Meaning that your body really just wants to stay at homeostasis, meaning like it just wants to stay the same. Same muscle, same fat, same body weight. It doesn't mean that when you're changing it, that's unhealthy. It is healthy. Just the reason your body wants to stay the same is just from a survival mechanic or survival mechanism of conserving energy. It wants to conserve energy because it doesn't know when it's going to get its next supply of food. I don't know if you think of just like in the old times when you had to actually hunt for your food. Like basically that. And by staying the same body weight, same muscle, same fat, it conserves the most energy. Therefore, you need less food. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm trying to think what the fuck else to talk about. Talked a little bit during my lifts. I don't know. What would you want to know from that day or today? If I was looking at my workouts today, listed conversations today, what question would I have? I don't know, maybe just like when I mentioned that I was practicing posing for competing. How did I learn how to pose, I guess, maybe? Some of them online. There's some YouTube videos that can teach you how to pose, quite honestly. I watched a few. Yeah, honestly, YouTube videos will get you in the right direction. Yeah. And then, I'm not just going to say just that. For the fine tuning, my coach kind of taught me, you really don't know like the exact things that you would be able to do specifically to how your physique looks to enhance it. Because you know, guys on stage will have different ways they hit poses, because some ways will like look better for their physique. Because you know, like I guess an example, Chris Bumstead, when he does an ab and thigh, he does a vacuum with his abs because it looks better for him. What's his name? Mike. I don't remember what his last name, but his Instagram handle is like Mike the Badass. He has like dominant quads and fucking what else? Lats maybe? But like his favorite classic is he like overlaps his legs plus does a front lat spread. Because that's best for his physique. So you really don't know that specific stuff until you get really, really lean, because that's when the details actually pop and you know what's going to look best for you. But for general posing, YouTube videos, and then practice holding them. I don't know. Practice holding them for... I'd say start off with like 5 seconds for each of them. Do like 3 rounds of 5 seconds for each of them. And then, I don't know, work your way up to like 10 seconds. Maybe start with like 2 rounds, then work up to 3 rounds. Somewhere you gradually increase it. just to get better at it. I mean, yeah. And then I think what I did was like, after I worked out, I would do that, and then once it started to get like 8 weeks out, is when I started I started practicing posing after cardio in the morning plus after I worked out, so twice a day. And it's quite a bit, but it was worth it. I mean, shit, I know how to pose now. Like, I'm not starting from square one anymore, which is nice. So I know for my next show, if I do one, maybe not, but I know that I will still practice, of course, but I know that I'll have less time learning and more time refining. Right? First time's always going to be pain. So learn how to play a new sport. Of course, learning it's pain, but then once you learn it, you just refine. So, yeah. All right, we'll call it at that. Tomorrow we got biceps, a little bit of back, clutch, because I swear my pull days last like only an hour and 15 or an hour. Today, when I hit 3 muscle groups, it takes a little bit longer. So, yeah. All right. Was this day 83 or something? Dude, we got like a little over 2 weeks of hitting the goal of 100 days. I'll probably keep recording them still after that, but like, man, I'm just glad that I'm really sticking to the goal that I had of being consistent. Yeah. All right, I won't ramble on this time. Peace out.